Error occurring fetching file share. Click here to retry. Oh god. Wait for a while. Plot sync. Sync group. Storage account. Now it is available here. Prod sync group. So after create the sync group, if you open it, so cloud endpoint is creating. Just wait for a while. Yes, my cloud endpoint is done. After adding the cloud endpoint, it is provisioning. Let it be. Okay, done. Add the server endpoint. So server endpoint is my sharing location. Means if I go to my server, this is my virtual server, and let's say I have my file here. Okay, this PC in D drive, I have my file. Share one something. Okay, what I can do, I can just do the refresh, so I can get the update information in virtual machine also. Nothing open here. No problem. Add server endpoint. Register server. This one. Specify the data path. Let's say D drive share one. What name I have mentioned? Let me check. SHRE. And create. So now server endpoint is adding here. So now it is provisioning. After successful provisioning, you can get your data in the storage. Where you are get your data, this particular file information will be available in the storage. If I open my storage, this is my storage account. in the file share, under this broad share, so here you can see the data of my server. But before that, the data has to be provisioned. Means this provisioning process, once it is complete, okay. Wait. Where it is there? Yeah. So see, this is provisioning complete, but data is now fetching. Once data fetching is done, okay, it is checking the health of the machines and everything. When data fetching is done, now you can, after that you can see the data here in the storage account in the file share area. So now onwards, if you want to distribute the data, instead of distributing from the physical server, you can distribute it from the storage share, or cloud storage share, better to say. So this is called file sync service. So if any hacker present in your network and try to do something bad, they will directly attack to your storage account. They will not attack to your physical machine, which is present behind this file share location. Am I clear, audience?
Sujit, uh, it is synchronizing our access control list also during means from server to
No,
storage
no,
account.
no, not access control list. Anything that you are sharing from the server, na, like I mentioned,
Okay.
D drive. So that is only copying.
Yeah, but if suppose if I give data is only copy.
Yeah, if you give access control list information, for example, you put every data, every definition of
Hmm.
access control list, you write in a file, and you store the file in a particular drive, and you share the drive from the cloud. Okay, then that information is also available to the cloud.
Okay, means that root folder permission is not available, but in folder data or internal file
Yeah,
security
what I'm saying.
access control list will available.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm saying
Yeah.
that, like I mentioned, I create a file here, share one. So I mentioned folder, okay, folder automatically created anyway. So I mentioned that particular folder will be sharing with my cloud. So maybe you have added all your database informations, means your is access control list information, you put it in a file, okay, and save it here in this particular folder. Folder name could be anything. So when you share this folder with the cloud, all the information present under this folder will be also available to the cloud. And if you share the cloud share storage, means file share storage service to the different people, they can also access it based on the permission. Is that your
Okay.
query or something
Okay.
else?
Suppose
Or
if I have created one file server on my on-premise data center, and I have
Haji?
provided access list on that folder wise. I have provided access list. So suppose I want to take backup of that particular file server on this
Hmm.
with the help of this Azure sync. So in
Hmm.
that scenario, that access list will also sync, or only data will sync to the storage box.
Okay. So you have to do two step actually. One, that you take a backup of your entire system. Let's say you take a backup and
Hmm,
you store the backup data in a flash drive, which is attached with your system. Let's say.
hmm,
So you go to the flash
hmm,
drive. Let's say your flash drive drive letter is E drive. So you go to E drive, and first of all you go to the cloud. You go to the cloud here, where, yeah, this is my sync service. Okay, this is my register server. So what you did, at the server endpoint, click it here, choose your registered server, whatever your registered server have. Okay, and then you have to mention your drive's path. Let's say E drive. After registering the entire what it is called, uh, registered server, you put it the E drive and mention the particular folder where you have stored your all backups. You cannot directly send the backup to the file sync. You have to store the backup in a folder, and that folder you can share with the cloud sync or Azure file sync. So the backup data present in that
Okay.
folder in on-prem, that will be migrated here.
Okay. Hmm.
Yes.
And what about restoration process?
Restoration process, since it is not a backup site, you just download the backup. Like
Hmm.
for example, this is your file share location. Let's say this is your backup file. Okay, just for example,
Hmm.
this is your backup file. You can directly right click
Hmm.
and download it.
And
Okay,
download.
or delete it. Yeah, download it. Or
Okay.
if that file share is mapped with your local system, go to the local system, find your data, and just do the copy paste. Since it is already there in your system mapped,
And,
okay, so you can do the copy
mhm.
paste. Am I clear?
Okay. And see,
But
this and yeah, and entire can one more point is this entire
Mhm.
synchronization process is happening over the internet, or if suppose if I have a express route, then can I
Express
synchronize this process from yeah over the
express route.
express route? Is it feasible?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
feasible. It is feasible because once you have the express route, okay, your ISP will redirect all the traffic with the express route connection only, and you don't have any internet.
Okay.
All the Azure communication will happen with the express route.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so there is no public communication happen.
Okay. Perfect. Mhm.
Got it, man?
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Yes, audience. Any other query? Any other question? So, audience, are you feeling tired or something? Audience, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, okay, audience, let's go for a break. It's a long time that we didn't go for a break, and log module it was. So, shall we take a break? What do you think?
Yeah, let's take.
Okay, Ashish is okay. And
Okay.
what about the others' opinion? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Subramania is saying okay. That's okay, guys. Let's go for a break. Hello, audience. Sujit here. Audience, can you hear me?
Yeah, Sujit, I can able to.
Thank you, Samya. Subramania, Uday, Nitin, thank you. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to go for the next module, that is the last module of the particular the last module of the day. Let me check. Azure virtual machine. So what is there? Let's see. So there is a 5 lessons again. Lesson 8 is for lab and review query. Virtual machine extensions is 4. Virtual machine availability, creating virtual machine, and planning for the virtual machine. For making a plan, what we have to understand, IaaS cloud services, what service we can deploy in cloud, which is a infrastructure as a service actually. Planning the checklist, location and pricing, virtual machine sizing, virtual machine disk, what type of disk we can use, storage option, supported operating systems, and virtual machine connections. So audience, before we go for the that slides and see one by one, I think I have to go to the portal and show you the demonstration. That would be more interactive, I think, because all those information is there, so we can directly discuss. So if I run VM, there is an option called add. You need to add this. Already I have 3 VM, but now the VM I'm going to create, that we need to discuss one by one. Resource group, I don't think I need any kind of discussion for it. Leave it. Virtual machine name, provide the virtual machine name, prod VM3, let's say. Region, choose your location where you can provision your virtual machine. Let me go to the East US 2. Okay. Availability option. Now, to make your virtual machine available, highly available, we have different options. How many options we have? We have 2 options. But if I change the location from East US 2 to something else, okay, the option will be changing. How? Let me show you. If I change, let's say India, any location of India, Central India, for example. Okay, now if you go to the availability option, you will see availability zone is grayed out, because in India region, we don't have any availability zone. We have only availability set. Okay, so location to location, that availability options and other feature can be changed. So our case, what we have chosen East US 2, right? So when we choose East US 2, wait for a while, it is refreshing the screen. Yeah. Now if you look into this, I have availability zone and availability set. What is availability set? Availability set, if I open my paint, new, don't save. Availability set is a collection of fault domain and update domain. AV set is a collections of fault domain plus update domain. Now question is, what is fault domain? What is update domain? Audience, fault domains in our data center, that is a rack, physical rack. Like if you look into your data center, there is a multiple racks available. You know that in our home for organizing our books, we have a book racks, bookshelf. So same thing we can find in our data center where we have a racks where rack servers has been organized in a proper manner. So each rack have some rack servers available under it, like this way. So same kind of structure may be present here also, like this. So the fault domain is considering the racks. Why it is called fault domain? Because if rack is down for any reason, maybe electrical supply is down or for any reason, if rack is down, all the rack server present in this rack all will also be down. Now the data which is present in this rack, that will be available to the another rack server from the another rack. But to get the data back, client can have some kind of latency. If it is an unexpected downtime, audience, then definitely the client will get a latency. But if it is a planned downtime due to some maintenance part, then client will not get any downtime. Okay, because in planned maintenance, Microsoft automatically live migrate the data from one rack to another rack. Okay. So anyway, so fault domain is called rack in our data center, physical data center. And update domain. So in my case, I have fault domain 1, I have fault domain 2, and I have fault domain 3. So I have fault domain 3 fault domains. And under each fault domain, I may have multiple rack servers. The rack server is called update domain. Let's say RS1, RS2. I could have the RS3 here like this. Okay. RS4, RS5, RS6, RS7 like this way. So this each rack server is considering as a update domain. Why? Because when it is updating, means we can update the each rack servers in a particular scheduled time. That it may happen, audience, I'm not denying that instead of individual updating the server, we can make a cluster. Like, for example, uh, yeah. So this is the cluster or the block of the rack servers which is updated at the same time. Maybe all the rack server is running with the same operating system, same version. So now these three rack servers are updated with a new version. That could happen. So instead of individual rack server update, Microsoft can take multiple rack servers at the same time for updating with the same kind of version of the operating system or patches. So if this is happening, all the rack server details, all the rack server data will be migrated to the different rack server to the different rack. So individual rack servers or group of rack servers which is updated at the same time is called update domain. So if I have update domain three update domain or four update domain, I can combine, I can make a combination of it. Okay. So I can say, okay, in my availability set, I'm going to use three fault domain. Okay, three FD. Color is yellow color is not very much catchy though. Three fault domain and three update domain, let's say beauty. So 3 fault domain means my availability set will use 3 fault domain, 3 racks, and in top of the 3 rack, I need a 3 update domain. So 3 update domain can be individual 3 rack servers or can be a 3 pool. So under this pool, you may have multiple rack server present. Depends that Microsoft how it is designed internally. So whatever the design it is, we don't have any visibility on it. We just select that how many fault domain and how many update domain I can choose for my availability. Okay, and based on that, I can plan my infrastructure. So one option of the availability is the availability set, and second option is availability zone. Availability zone. Okay, let me tell you the disadvantage of availability set. The availability set, all the racks and rack server present in a same data center. So if your data center is down, there is a chance to lost your data, right? So to avoid data center problem or avoid data center related issue, what we can do, we can go for the availability zone. In availability zone, in a particular region, you may have multiple data center. Let's say this is my region, right? Under each region, you may have multiple data center in a different location. Like these are my data center, okay, in a different location. So each location is called zone. So I have 3 zones, right? So when I deploy my virtual machine and say, okay, my virtual machine will be goes to the zone number 2. Let's say this is zone number 2. So all the data center present in this zone will take my virtual machine copy inside their data center. So any case, if any reason one data center down, okay, I have another 2 data center, okay, from where I can get back my data. Means Microsoft can provide access to my data. So using zone, we can avoid the data center related issue. But if entire region down, then yes, in that case, Microsoft is always recommending that you should go for the backup. If you have the backup anytime, if your entire region is down, you can get your restore back your data. But yes, if you do the backup since it is not a synchronous process, so you may lost some data, but not the entire data. But yes, there is a lost. Okay, so this is called availability zone and availability set. So either of the option you can choose when you choose your when you create your virtual machine. So better option you should go for the availability zone.
Sujit, in availability zone, the VMs will be replicated to in all the data centers within the same region. That is how they
No,
are managing. How do
no.
they manage?
That the VM will be replicating between the data centers which is present inside the zone. Like I have a 3 data center in zone 2. So all the data center will have the copy of my data, and any changes if you do with your data, that will be synchronously replicating. But no synchronous replication process happen with the zone wise, not like that. So that Microsoft
So,
is doing, that is Microsoft is doing, if anything happen wrong with your zone, Microsoft will replicate your data from zone 2 to another zone, but that is not a synchronous process.
mhm. Okay.
That
So
is
at
done
any
through the
instance,
Microsoft. Yes, yes, tell me.
how many copies of the VM I will have in availability zone?
There is no fixed number, means how many data center present in under each zone, that is also not visible to us. So there
Okay.
is no clear picture that how many copies we will have in availability zone, because that depends on the number of data center present under each zone.
Okay, okay. Right. So in availability set, so it is within the same data center, if I'm
Yes.
correct. It is within the same data center. I just
Mhm.
can choose fault domains and update domains and choose where it can be migrated. I never have multiple copies. Is that so?
No, you don't
Availability
have
set
any multiple copies.
of the
You
VM.
just choose. No, you just choose availability set combination. How many fault domain, how many update domain. That's all. But how many
Okay.
copies are really creating inside it? Actually, there is no copies creating inside it for availability set. Unless you
Uh-huh.
create VM scale set, there is no copy. Okay, all
Oh.
machines are individual internally.
So if I create one VM, I will have only one copy of the VM. Only one VM
Yes,
is available. And
yes.
the fault domain represents that if any problem happens to that that server which is hosting that VM, it will get migrated to other rack. Is that so?
Other rack or other rack server, but again that's done through the internal design. Means you may get some kind of downtime if it is unexpected problem happen with your rack or rack server.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if it is unplanned downtime, I will have the downtime in restarting the VM on another server. But if it is
Hmm.
a planned downtime, they will automatically move it to the
Another
other.
rack.
Will they move to the fault domain, or will they move to the update domain? How is that so?
If fault domain, if any rack server present, basically they are using rack server in a different rack
Uh-huh.
or in the same rack also. So
Mm-hmm.
are they using fault domain, different fault domain or different update domain? That really not clear to me because it is something by design they are managing it. They are
Oh,
not
okay.
exposing anything. Even I didn't find this answer in the portal also, in Microsoft documents also. They are just saying that we are
Okay.
migrating the data, migrating the VM
VM.
information to the different rack or rack server based on
Mm-hmm.
availability.
Okay, 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 okay. But in availability set, I have only one copy of the VM. But in availability zone, I will have multiple copies of the VM synchronously getting replicated. Correct?
inside the
In
zone.
simpler words,
Inside the zone.
inside the zone, within
Yeah.
multiple data centers, I will have copies getting VM getting replicated. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sujit. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is called combination availability combination, right? So now choice is yours. Which option will be suitable for you, suitable for your infrastructure that you can choose, and based on that you can choose your availability. Like if I choose availability zone, I just have an option 1, 2, 3. But how many data center is really present under zone 2, zone 3, zone 1? We don't have any visibility on it. Now choose your images. You can choose from the list which is available to me, or I can, if I want to see more list, more images, then I just go to the marketplace. Marketplace is a way or options where you can upload your customized image. Okay, you create you install operating system, you do some customization there, and then you can upload that image to the marketplace. That you can do so. And after uploading the image to marketplace, you can frequently refer to the same image for different deployment process. Abhishek Samantha, yes, we can get a Windows 10. Yes, Abhishek, we can get Windows 10.
But Windows
Definitely.
Server 2016 standard is not available, correct? Sujit, I
Standard,
think
that we need to check in the
standard.
list of the image.
Yeah, I checked it, Sujit. It is not available.
Okay,
Standard is not available, Sujit.
that could be. That could
So
be.
I think we have to add it custom.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks, Sujit.
yeah, sure. Because every image, Microsoft is not uploading any image, but yes, if as a customer, if I upload or you are uploading, then probably we can get it. Abhishek, these versions are available in Windows 10. Okay, so choice is yours. What options means what operating system you want to have. But audience, let me tell you one thing. That image you are looking now, that image you are getting in the list, all the image either belongs to Microsoft Windows platform or belongs to Linux platform. There is no image support for Mac operating system, audience. Be careful about that. There is a no support for Mac operating system. All operating system either belongs to Microsoft or belongs to Linux. Okay. So choose your operating system as per your convenience, and then you can move with your further demos provisioning process. Okay, there is a Oracle database, there is a SQL database also. What is just 1 minute? Let me close my window, otherwise my neighbor dog is shouting a lot. Okay, so yeah, so choose your image as per your convenience, and then you can create your virtual machine. So this dog is not actually listening to me. Sorry, audience, something which is beyond my control. And okay, so there is a size of the image. That image you are choosing, you have to choose the size. By default, one size has taken here to virtual CPU, 8 GB of memory, something. If you think that it is very much costly for you, the cost is also showing here, month-wise cost, not actual cost at all. And this is the instance cost, not a full virtual machine cost. Okay, so we can choose the size. Instance cost means it is a bare metal cost, like your CPU, your RAM, your hard drive, and all those stuff. Choose which is little bit lower for you. Maybe I can go for it. Okay. These are the different type of instance sizes. We will go for the detailed discussion that what image, what instance is suitable for what type of activity, that we will see in the slide. Okay. So I chose my required standard size, which is less expensive, I hope. Yeah. Now provide the username. Same way, I can provide username student. Now inbound port rules, as we have mentioned in the NSG, we can enable the inbound port rules to access my RDP and all those stuff. If it is Linux, then you have a SSH. You can open port number 22 for SSH. Okay. And then go to disk. Choose your disk type. You can choose premium drive if your virtual machine is going to do some kind of low latency activity, that your virtual machine should not get any low latency, high throughput it should provide to the customer, to the applications. Then either you can choose standard or premium SSD. But if your virtual machine is going to provide support for some kind of services, if that service is having some latency from the virtual machine end, there is no issue. Then you can choose the standard HDD. Okay. And there is an option called disk type. Audience, with every virtual machine, there is a two disk by default. As I have, my virtual machine have a two disk by default. C disk and D disk. C disk is called OS disk, where my operating system has installed automatically. And D disk is called temporary disk, that Azure is automatically attached with my VM. Okay, so this disk particularly using for the page swapping purpose. Okay, it is not recommending to store anything in this particular D disk, because if you do the shutdown your machine, okay, the disk will be dissolved automatically. That's why don't put anything here. Got it? Now, apart from these two disks, which is by default present with every VM, you can add extra disk. That is called data disk. Data disk is using to store your personal data, like you want to store game, you want to store movie, your personal informations. Without using C drive and and D drive, that is called temporary drive. Okay, you can attach another disk. So you can click it. So disk name, you can choose anything, whatever you want to choose. Disk 1. Source can be a snapshot. If you have any snapshot, you can get the disk from it, or you can choose a storage blob. Storage blob means if you upload any VHD in the storage account, you can refer that one also. Okay. Or otherwise, you can create the disk is a empty way. So later you can add your data. Now size by default, it has taken 1024 GB, but and premium SSD obviously, but I need to change it. I don't want to spend my money without means I don't need premium hard drive. Why should I use it? And size, I don't need 1024 GB, so I'm happy with 32 GB. Okay. So this one, standard HDD. Now go to the networking. Networking, something very simple. You have to choose your virtual network where you put your VM. We have seen this one, right? So since my location is East US 2 and resource group is ISRG, ISPRG, so there you can find my hub VNet. Hub VNet 1 subnet is this one automatically taken. You can choose other subnets if you have. So these two subnets I cannot use because this has been used by specific service. So I have only this subnet available for my VM. Sounds good. My VM is getting a public IP address. If I want to add this VM with a load balancer, don't use this public IP address. Just remove it. But if you think that your VM will be using in a standalone manner, you don't have to access this using a load balancer or something like that. You can add the public IP, because without public IP, you cannot access your VM, okay, from outside of the Azure environment. So anyway, let me go with the prod VM3. Inbound port rules, we have the port rules here. Accelerated networking, something which is called offloading your host machine network related data processing, that will be directly happening from the VM itself. Okay, now go to the management. So in management, we have options like boot diagnostics. When booting processes happen, that process is also start. That whether your booting process is happening normally or not, does it get any problem? So everything will be recording in this particular storage. So if you do not have any storage, it will create by its own. Since I have a storage account here, so it has taken. Otherwise, it can create its own storage account. If you want to store your OS diagnostics data, that also you can use it. You can make it on. Okay. And auto shutdown, which is tell your virtual machine automatically shut down if you are not using. Even if you are using at the particular time, it is automatically shut down. But if your machine is running, if you want that your machine should run 24/7, then don't open this option enable. Okay. I will open it because I knew that after finish this uh, session, so if I forget to switch off my machine, it will be automatically switch off, and it will save my cost also. So I just put the time here, and notification when it is shut down, it will send a mail to my mail ID. If I want to enable backup, I can do so. Just make it on and it will ask me to create a service recovery vault for store my VM data. Anyway, later we will discuss about this VM backup and all. Now go to
Sujit,
advanced.
what is that managed identity, Sujit?
Manage identity.
Yeah.
Revati, do one thing. I put your query in a parking lot. Okay. I
Yeah,
will
yeah, sure.
answer you
Sure.
tomorrow because if I go
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
sure.
managed
Thank
identity,
you, Sujit.
probably I have to go
Okay.
to the Active Directory configurations and all. So I have to
Yeah,
recall all those condition things. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
due to time crunch, actually, I am requesting you just put your query in the parking lot. Tomorrow I will tell you what is managed
Yeah,
identities, how it is being
thank you.
used.
No issues at all. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for the understanding, Revati. Okay. Advance, advance. Now extension is important. Extension is something which is you are adding after install the VM. That is a manual task. Like you want to install antivirus after VM provision. So we are installing antivirus. We are running some uh, that services. Like I want to enable IIS, Internet Information Service, for example. Okay, so those tasks we have to do means creating enable services, install application. That is our post task of the installation. So instead of doing this post task, what we can see, if I think that okay, those required information, those required setup automatically happen during the installation or after immediate installation, but I'm not going to do anything. Cloud will perform on behalf of me. Then we have to add the extensions. If you look into the area, there is some kind of application mentioned that will be automatically installed in your VM when it is provisioning. Got it? Or else, if you think that, okay, you need some kind of service, you need to enable some kind of service you need to configure, you can run the custom script, PowerShell script, or you can run PowerShell disaster script. PowerShell DSC or this custom script will allow you to enable some Windows-based, I'm running Windows machine, allow you to run some Windows-based service, means enable the service, make it permanent. So those things. So you can run those kind of custom activities, which is normally we are doing after installation. You can assign it with the installation. So when you get your VM, all will be automatically set up. Like you want to create your VM as a domain controller. So to require runner to make your machine as a domain controller, whatever the prerequisites, whatever the required configuration is required, everything you put inside the script and you just set the script here. So Azure will provision the VM, execute the script into that, and make your VM ready to work. You don't need to do after install the VM. Okay. Audience, don't think these extra services or extra applications you are choosing to run with your VM, this is a free thing. No. Many service which is showing here, which is require a separate license. That means you have to purchase the license also separately to activate this service. Okay. If I choose Azure Performance Diagnostics, that is free of cost. It is a Microsoft product, so it won't charge me a lot. So I can choose this one. Okay, create. I just show you how to add the extension, but maybe. Okay, storage account key, something is required. Storage account name, where you have to mention it. So everything I have to put it. Uh, so let me, I just avoid the complexity and choose anything else, anything which is free of cost and less complex. Mm, pipeline agent, let me check that. Is this asking me of something different? Okay. Network agent for Windows. I think it is not asking me any complex configuration. Okay. Okay. It is not asking me any complex. Just the agent will be installed in the Windows machine. Okay. Okay. Now I can review and create the thing. So now you can see the actual cost of my VM will be charged me, that is 6.028 rupees per hour. 6.028. Okay, 6 rupees per hour it will be charged me based on the option I have chosen there. Okay. Now I can do the create. So let it be like that. Okay. Let me go to the slide. So virtual machine overview. Virtual machine is the infrastructure as a service. So the compute, the instances you are taking from the cloud environment, networking, storage, everything is a part of Microsoft. So they are managing it, but operating system that we have chosen, any kind of application we have chosen as an extension to deploy. Okay, after creating the VM, whatever data we have to store into the VM, everything will be our responsibility. Okay, because virtual machine is an infrastructure as a service. Though we are choosing operating system from the cloud, but license we have to provide. Got it? Cloud never provides you license for the operating system. Start with the network planning. When you make a plan to provision the VM, you always start with the network, where you have to put your VM, what is the size of the network, name of the VM, location of the VM. That should be a less expensive location, obviously, but sometimes company are compromised with the cost because of the security. Like determine the size of the VM, the size, the bare metal size. Pricing model, you have to check how much you have to pay against a VM if you deploy. Operating system, what operating system you need, any extra activity, any extra feature which is required for the operating system that you can add as extension. So these are the plan checklist you need to maintain, right? Location and pricing. So choose your location, like I choose East US 2. You have to choose your location which is less expensive and compare the cost, how much you have to pay against the location. So how do you calculate the location and the price? There is a portal called pricing calculator. So if you go here, you can see virtual machine. Every service is showing here. You can check your service, what you need to have and what amount you have to pay. But that cost is a tentative cost, not the actual cost. The actual cost will be showing when you start provisioning the VM. So you just view it. See the region. You just choose the region and you randomly change the location to check that what amount you have to pay against each location. Operating system, OS type. So every information is there that you can refer. Virtual machine sizing for the general purpose where machine is not doing any kind of heavy load work. In that case, you can choose the size DSV3, DSV4. Okay, but if you want compute optimization, then you should go for the higher CPU memory ratio, good for medium traffic web servers. The size is FSV2. For memory optimization, where you need a good memory for database or for any real-time execution area, you have to choose this kind of sizes, ESV3, uh, EV3, like this. For storage, where the virtual machine using for SQL data, NoSQL database, data warehousing, where storage is required very much and with less latency, then you should go for the LSV2. For GPU or graphics related activity like your machine is using for uh, editing, video editing, movie editing, then you should go for this NC kind of series. Okay. And high performance in terms of everywhere, then you should go for HB and HC. Virtual machine disk, all the virtual machines should have a three types of disk, optionally three, but at least two disks is always there. One is OS disk and second disk is called temporary disk. Last one is data disk. If you want to configure for your personal data store, you can do it. Storage option, we have a premium storage, we have a SSD storage and HDD storage also. So premium storage always give you low latency, higher performance. Okay, but charge is there, cost is there. Disk can be managed disk, can be unmanaged disk. Managed disk means the disk, the high availability, latency management, okay, accessibility management, everything is managed by the Microsoft. Whereas unmanaged disk is entirely managed by the user. Means when you choose unmanaged disk, another storage account they will ask you to create. Okay, so since storage account is created by you, so obviously that account you also managing, right? So in that case, that is called unmanaged disk. The advantage is in unmanaged disk, we can provision up to 40 VM, okay, under one storage account. Whereas in managed disk, we can create 1000 VM under one storage account. But storage account is not visible to us. Everything managed by Microsoft.